All right.
Yay. Heard it.
Okay. So thank you, subcommittee members. Welcome to the Monday, March 23rd, 2026 NESCO and Community Plan Steering Subcommittee meeting. Looks like committee members only, no public yet. Maybe Nancy will
Uh,
join us.
Nancy cannot, but I talked to Sarah about an hour or so ago, and she intends to attend.
Okay. All right. We'll look forward to her arrival. Um, so may I get approval of the subcommittee members of this agenda?
I approve.
You got it up? I didn't look
Yes?
at the.
I didn't
Well,
look.
I can read it to you, but oh,
I trust it. I approve.
Yeah,
Lori? Oh, you're muted, but I could see you say yes. Oh, there's Sarah.
Yes, I
Okay.
approve.
Approval of the agenda and review of the minutes. Anyone have any additions or changes, corrections to the minutes of the February 23rd meeting? No changes?
No.
May I ask for approval of the minutes?
Approve.
So moved.
Okay, I have a second.
Seconded and approved.
I didn't quite get that, but
Seconded. I seconded.
okay, so let me know with a hand if you approve the minutes of the. Okay, approval has been, and any declaration of conflict of interest by subcommittee members.
no conflicts.
No conflicts.
Conflict.
Lori?
None.
No, I said it. No
Oh,
conflict.
okay, thank you. All right, we've checked those boxes. So we have a new draft to review, and we have some comments to sort out as to how they or if they will be written into the plan. So, Tom, I'll turn it over to you as the presenter of draft 38. Is that R38 is what we're working on?
Actually, we're looking at R40, which will become
R40.
R40, and
Okay,
it should be.
thank you.
There's a link to it in the
Email.
meeting folder.
Oh,
Mhm. Sarah,
As well.
will we, we'll put it on the screen, Tom, and go through it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to make sure people had it for reference in case I'm going too fast or too slow.
Okay. All right.
Eh,
So it's
And
draft
there's the.
draft 40, right?
Draft 40.
Okay.
Okay.
That's the wrong one. That's the wrong screen, isn't it? Yeah.
Ah,
Oh, it worked for a minute.
Well,
I
I had
think
the wrong one up,
the
Oh,
wrong one.
the
okay.
wrong screen. I've got multiple screens. I'm
A
an
man of
editor.
many screens.
Well, something like that. Okay.
There we
Let's go
go.
back up to the top. Okay, so as I mentioned in the email, what I'd like to do is go through the changes that are largely from Sarah and Chris, although I have contributed some things myself and a few changes that were prompted by Guy. And then Guy has some other things which I think take some discussion, and I think we should handle those after we get done with this. My goal is that we get rid of all the red, or at least decide that we need to change it and have a well-identified path through. Because I'd like to get us to the point where we don't have any red in our documents. That's sort of my
Okay.
goal. Okay, so the first change, and which apparently Guy didn't like, but I do, and we'll discuss it later, is I listed out what the values were in the overview. That's an editorial thing. We'll just leave that red for right now. That is a editorial change, just to be just making words look better And that also is editorial. Okay, so first substantial change is in the previous version of policy one, there was a declarative statement that didn't look like it belonged in a policy. So I just moved it out of the policy and put it in line. And that's the only change I made. Anybody have an issue with that?
No, that seems.
Hearing none. Okay, now as what I'm doing is I'm going through and going to the next change. This document, I broke it and had to reconstruct it. So there'll be things that show indications of change that are not actually changes. The little feature that I used for numbering the policies broke, and I had to reconstruct it. So you're going to see every one of the policies. You're going to say, that's changed. No, it hasn't.
Okay.
Okay, and that's that.
So
So
Tom,
let's see. Yes.
because I know you're a detail person, the Nescoin Beach Golf Course, its acronym is NBGC, which requires that the C in course be capitalized.
Gotcha.
There you go. Thank you.
And that is an editorial. We'll just accept that right now. Okay, moving on, and there's no actual changes there other than my repairing the thing. And there. I changed a must to a shall, based on the nomenclature used in our bylaws. Must is a natural consequence and shall is a directive. So I changed it to a shall. Any issue with that?
No.
Okay. Okay, so we can move the first thing. It's called out to Sarah to give current information and status. That has to do with the pedestrian between the neighborhoods. That is, I think, covered later in the inputs that I got from you, Sarah. Is that correct?
Say that one more time, Tom.
On the topic is pedestrian access between neighborhoods. I've got a note here which says Sarah to give current information and status. I believe you have that information included in the stuff that you gave me for the last month. Is that
Yes,
correct?
yes. And I
Okay.
think part of that, the language it's going to help us finalize any of that will also come from the upcoming ODOT meeting. So I'm going to
Okay.
pull some things from a few places.
Okay, so I'm going to delete that just so that we can. Okay, here's the first substantial chunk we got. I don't remember where we got this from. Was this from you, Sarah, or is this something that one of us did? I think it's.
I think
What
this,
line do we talk about, Tom?
yeah,
Well, talking about the things. I'm sorry, the things that are underlined to you.
I know, but what lines? That line starting with
Line 9 through 25.
okay. The access.
Because I know I wrote a bunch of stuff about the connections, pedestrian connection between the neighborhoods.
So 22 through 25 needs to be deleted.
Okay. Okay.
Does it appear anywhere else, or is it just more of a statement that doesn't belong there?
So,
Mhm.
so quick question before we go farther. We don't have the beach access, the primary beach access point that is on Kinnickinnick. And when I went down there and looked at it, and it doesn't have any signs. I know where it is. I know what the sign used to look at, but I think for the time being, we should at least list it. It's not a ramp. There's no ramp, but there's a beach access point. And it's on Kinnickinnick north of north of the golf course. And so if we just list it as primary beach access points are, and we add bullet point, north of Kinnickinnick, north of the golf course.
You can't say it and I can't spell it.
I know,
So,
Kinnickinnick.
I can spell it, but my question, Lynn, isn't that in Nescoin North and is a private street?
No, now that's a separate beach access, which
Okay.
also is used publicly. Um,
'Cause
and
okay.
so the beach access on Kinnickinnick has been there since I rode horses through Nescoin North. That's a long
okay, give me a spelling. We don't need
Okay,
history.
it's capital Kinnni, or
Yeah,
not Kinnick.
That's correct. That's what I have.
Avenue, AVE.
So you're missing some there, Tom. It's Kinnni, and
Yeah.
then and then and you keep going with another Kinnnick. There
There
you
you
go.
Okay. I never would have guessed that. And I
And I
won't
would
call it
just
a
say
ramp.
Kinnick,
It's not a
no
ramp.
ramp. And it's Kinnickinnick north of the golf course.
Should we say
Well,
trail?
Is it a avenue or anything? Or
I think
It's
it
a
is.
trail, it's sand, it's through the dunes.
I think it's a street too. I mean, I think it's
go.
one of the
It's a
streets.
street. Yeah.
It used to be gravelled. If there's asphalt under there, it's pretty hard to find at this point, but I think you're right, Guy. It may have been asphalted at one point.
yeah,
And there
I think
was a
it should be
sign.
avenue is right.
Yeah, and there was a sign there which the neighbors took down.
Yes,
They didn't want to
yes,
advertise it. There was an access,
that's
public
right.
access.
oh, how nice.
So I verify so they're not, so they're beach access points. Kinnickinnick is public. The one in Nescoin North is not public, right? Because it's
No,
part of,
it's absolutely people use it. It's public. It's very well marked. It's very well marked so that people don't ramble into either the foredune protection effort or the backyards of the people who are adjacent to it. But
it is public easement.
no, it is not a public easement.
That's what I'm talking about. So
Okay,
I think
yeah.
so I will verify the status of those because what we could say if we're going to add, I agree, Lynn, to the inventory of beach access points. Should we delineate which ones are public and private? Or should we just
I'm not sure you would put the private, so you can't drive into Nescoin North, right? You can't
Correct.
drive your car in there. It's gated and it's been gated for 40 plus years.
Mhm.
So, and it's a cul-de-sac, which is the other reason is the principal reason after all these years it's still gated is you can't it's a single lane and you have to turn around. You have to loop around to get out. So
And
no,
they're private roads back there.
yeah, oh yeah, the road's maintained and owned by Nescoin North. So
Mhm.
it's not it is, the public can get access to it. They walk through, and I can't remember what the signage is. There's signage about not parking your car and not driving too fast. I'll be down there this weekend so I can check it out. But the private ones are different, but I think the one on Kinnickinnick is a public one, and I think it's just overgrown, or I don't know those owners, so I don't know what the deal is. But it used to be a public beach access with a sign.
Okay. Tom, I made a note to verify that.
Okay. Should I say should we not say primary if we're going to list all of them?
I think we should not use primary if we're going to list them all.
I would say the public beach access
Public beach
points.
access. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, because there's some in South Beach that are not publicly accessible, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, so let me verify. Got it. Make a little note here.
So the correction of entire length, you want to accept that
That is a
part of
comment
the debate?
as a result of the comment by Guy. He had a problem with the statement, but I think the problem he had will be fixed by deleting the term entire.
Mhm.
Right. So I would
So,
think we should go ahead and do that, and then maybe we'll like
Yeah,
accept the whole piece.
Yeah.
okay, so is that good? Are we good with this?
Mhm.
Should I make a note that this is, may need to be updated, or how
The
do I
only thing
proceed?
I have, Tom, is to verify the status of Kinnickinnick.
Okay. To be verified.
Okay. Anything else we need to accept or talk about before we get to the two policies that are associated with this? And that, okay, assuming
That
that,
part's good.
okay. That's part of my broken document is that bullets are by default light blue. I have no
Huh.
idea how that happened. And I've done a lot and I can't seem to change it. Okay, so we had one policy, let me scrunch this together, which was beach access. And one of them was for emergency access, and that should say emergency. Well, do we want separate ones for emergency versus public? That's the question.
Well, it does help clarify when writing the grants that it's not all beach access points at Nesquin. It's the places where emergency vehicles get access, and that was a pretty big impetus for granting of funds um, as to whether, and so it would clarify it for that purpose.
That was my thought.
Yeah. I think the sentence looks fine, Tom. The only thing is you're missing a period at the end.
Yeah, I changed the sense of it. Yeah, there are no periods at the ends of those sentences.
Oh,
And that was just a convention I used and needed to abandon. I just didn't fix it. So not a problem. So I don't know whether or not I added the implementation correctly or not. All of the policies I think are meant to have how you would get this done. And so I'm assuming that the Fire Protection District, Parks and Recreation, and other things would be the implementers. Is that a
Mhm.
true statement?
yes.
Okay.
Do you think you should put is it already implied that Tillamook County would be part of that implementation because of the policy?
They are on Tillamook County roads.
Right.
So
That would be local, but I could be explicit about it.
yeah, I would say capital C.
Yeah, because I think so too, because when I think of any other local, state, or federal entity, what comes to mind for me would be like the water or sewer district, if there was
Yeah.
infrastructure in that area.
And we actually do work with them sometimes on the manhole covers to lift the rings and make them even and blah, blah, blah when we do the gravel work and things.
Hmm.
So if we're going to
You
have
want to,
two separate policy statements to deal with, one with public access and one with fire and protection, why do we, under implementation under policy 5, which apparently does not refer to emergency access, talk about
uh,
the Stucco Rural Fire Protection District?
actually, that meant to be emergency.
Yeah,
I did it incorrectly. The change that I just made on the fly.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
And then public access points are here.
Aha.
That's the problem with me doing live edits. And capitalize each word. Okay.
Well, if we're going to add public access and separate them out, we should probably add Corvallis as a public access. I mean,
Oh,
it's certainly,
You're
above.
talking about, what are you talking about? Back up here?
well, if we're going to separate out, and we're going to list public and emergency beach access points. I mean, Corvallis is a public access point. A lot of people use it. It's another extension of the street or an easement. It's just that you can't get an emergency vehicle, obviously, through there.
And it would go between Mount Angel and Kinnickinnick if you're going directionally from south to north.
Is it Corvallis? That's where you spell it?
I think there's two L's, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, that's wrong.
I assume that's an avenue as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not
There's-
correct, but I'll fix the font. So I can fix the font right that way.
It might be right, Corvallis.
Okay, if it's wrong, I'll get it. Instead doesn't object to it. So emergency access is fire district. Public access is, we could add Talbot County, but I've dropped the
Fire
fire
department.
district.
Yeah. There are two L's in Corvallis.
Okay. Any more issues or changes to these?
What are the little things at the end of after the box?
I'm
After
sorry.
line 31 are those.
Let me turn off those things. Those are things that an editor loves to see, everybody
Oh.
else hates.
Well, I just wondered. That's
Well, to
Okay.
answer your question is that they're tab characters and paragraph marks and
okay.
soft paragraphs. So,
All right.
that's better. And are we good with this?
I
Uh,
believe so.
Okay.
Okay. Limit vehicle access.
So with
Okay.
policy 7, the county, so this is a document, this is a land use document.
Uh-huh.
We have no jurisdictional authority to prohibit what type of vehicles access the beach.
Yes.
So
Now, that's a fundamental question. Some of these things don't involve the county when they're called out in terms of implementation, even the ones that we had discussed offline. So Oregon, Tillamook County is not listed there under the implementation. Is that okay? Or do we have to absolutely get rid of anything which the county doesn't have a direct influence in?
that is correct, because it is a land use document. I think
Yeah, well, I mean, that's different than what you'd said before, Sarah, and that's a little
So-
frustrating.
so we can't, so if OPRD says we're going to open the beach to any type of vehicular traffic, or vehicle is defined many different ways, right?
Yeah,
The policy basically is moot because we don't have a way, like, I think
But-
there could be a statement that the community desires to.
Yeah, I think that was in the original community plan. Nesquin has always been, with a few brief moments of non-compliance, a carless beach.
Mhm.
Vehicles are not allowed on the beach, and I think that's a community value. And we have handicap vehicles that can get on the beach.
Mhm.
We have, there's some people who ride horses on the beach, not very many anymore.
Right.
Um, People have their little wagons with the big wheels so they can get their stuff down on the beach. But if we don't say that anywhere in the policies and stuff, we should put it in the community value part and say it loud and clear.
Right, because the vehicular prohibition does not come from the community or the county. It's because OPRD said so. Because they are the ones with that jurisdictional authority.
Right.
So yes, I
So
think
there's no place for that here?
uh-uh.
So where
And
can we put it? Because I think it should be in the
Right up
plan.
front in the values,
In the
that little
value.
list of values.
Mhm.
So,
Okay, if I delete that policy, that's going to ripple the document. So I'm going to come back and make that a not policy.
Okay.
Uh, But
all right. So leave it red for now.
Mhm.
Yes.
so we're going to wind up changing other things which are not actually policies if Tillamook's not directly, I mean, we're going to have more
Okay.
things
Yeah.
that we've had there for a while.
Okay. We
Well,
got,
I'm only looking at the red stuff, Tom.
I understand.
Okay.
We've had this document a long time, so,
So
Yeah.
okay.
I have a question about that. So even though it doesn't say that Tillamook is implementing anything, um, we're we're just not allowed to say anything that Tillamook doesn't have um a right to implement. Is that it? Because we've said that you were going to work with us, but we didn't say you were implementing it. We said that the Parks Department and law enforcement agencies would implement it.
Right. So the thing is that this goes back to that conversation when this goes through the land use review process,
Mhm.
right? One of the criteria is consistency with the goals and with the statewide planning goals. So it has to be consistent with state law. The
But state law does.
prohibition comes from state law, which can be changed at any time, right? We see parks, most of the time they pull vehicular access more than they grant it, but we standing alone as a policy in this plan cannot prohibit or limit vehicular access because we don't have the jurisdictional authority to do
Right.
it.
But
Say we
Sarah,
have a
isn't the
policy to advocate.
You can put it in the values, and then that's where we would advocate. So if OPRD was ever to consider opening beach access in Nestolin, we would point to the values. We would point to the statewide planning goals. We would point to goal 18 of the county's comprehensive plan to help support not like that's how the community would say, we do not support OPRD making this change.
right.
Well,
And
we have other thoughts and recommendations that are coming out of this process that have nothing to do with land use. And even, although I think you could argue about use of the beach coming under one of the goals, land use, the goals. But what maybe we should think about is in the appendix, we collect some of the recommendations. We have thoughts about traffic going by here on 101 and access points and other kinds of things that have nothing to do with land use. They have a lot to do with things that came out of this process that people want as recommendations. So it might be to put all these things in a separate appendix, separate from the main document, which is, Sarah says, is a land use document, and just
so Guy,
have it as an appendix.
I
Yes.
think what you run the risk of there, and Sarah is right, and it is It's been done frequently. First of all, we need to have a short list of things that are most sacred to us, and those are our values. And, you know, and putting them up front means they get read and they get cited, and they don't have some lawyer saying it's in the appendix, so it's not the important part. And I've heard that so many times. We also need to know this is not a legal document. It doesn't have legal standing. And so, to the extent that we can make it get used, we need to keep it as clear and simple as possible. If there is a long list of things we want to add, we certainly can add them. But what I'm talking about are probably no more than 7 most important things that make Nescoin what it is today. And those need to be upfront, or they will just be, yep, on page 34, it says no cars on the beach, but it's an appendix, it's an afterthought, it's a whatever. And that concerns me for the key things we care about. And maybe some of the things you're referring to are key things that we also need to move to the very front, because there's gobs of words in this document. And the ones that are going to get read the most are the ones on the first 5 pages.
I think it could be in both places, Lynn, and I have no, argument about it not being in the statement of values. I mean, one of our values is is the beach. I mean, there are a couple of things that come under our values about the beach as being a safe place for people, access, um, and safety in terms of providing things for safety. You know, let's take a look at the fireworks statement. That's not a land use issue. It does apply to what people feel that the beach should be, and it should be an environmentally safe place, for birds, not having junk put on from fireworks. That piece in our community plan is not land use, but yet it talks about the value
Okay,
that we place on our beach.
so
And-
let's not get, we're not changing the structure of the document,
Right.
Yeah.
flat out.
So
We are not.
can
No,
We're
I,
not
no
gonna
one's
add.
no one's arguing that.
So, okay, so what we need to do is assign somebody to write a paragraph that means policy 7.
can I just make one clarification to Lynn's comments
Sure.
before, because I
Of
think
course.
this is relevant to what we're talking about. Okay. So Lynn, you are mostly correct. The policies do have legal standing. When the county reviews a conditional use request, a zone change, map amendment, or a legislative text amendment, because those 3 processes, the criteria require an analysis that the proposal is consistent with the goals and policies of the county's comprehensive plan, which trickles into this community plan for those policies that are embedded in this plan as part of the goal 14 element. So that's the only change, which is also why we have to be mindful of what our policies are, is because I can't have policies that aren't consistent with those goals.
Right, but Sarah, isn't the flow of that the comprehensive plan is the Bible, and the legal, if I have a conditional use, I'm going to really rely on the comprehensive plan.
Correct, which this is a part of.
Yes,
That's why this matters, is because
yes,
in unincorporated communities that have community plans, when I'm looking at a conditional use, zone change map amendment, or legislative text amendment, I have to not only look at the overarching comprehensive plan, but I have to look at the community plan policies as well.
okay. So that's enforced, you're saying.
That's right. And
Okay,
most of the policies are enforced through the implementing ordinances, right? Like the Nescoin R1 zone and the
right.
Nescoin commercial zone. But you can have policies in your community plan, and there's policies in the county's comprehensive plan that are not in an implementing ordinance, which is why I have to do that analysis of both.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate the clarification.
Now, I appreciate you bringing it up.
Yep.
Okay. Now we need to assign somebody to write the paragraph that means that in a values way.
So you're saying, so Tom, just so I'm understanding, because I don't think I am, is that you're saying this the landscaping and outdoor spaces
No,
paragraph.
no, we're talking about this,
Policy
what we're
7.
just, we're still on, what was policy 7 needs to turn into a value. And I think it's you that said that.
Right,
We need
but
somebody to do that.
right, but what I was suggesting and what I think is strongest is that list in the front where we intentionally added the values of the community. It's like 7 bullets. I tried to pull it up on my screen and I can't because I'm not driving the screen. But we added like 7 values. There's one about education, there's one about, there's
If,
7.
however that needs to happen, I need text.
Yes, and if you'll just move the screen back to that part right now.
I don't want to do it live because we have a lot of stuff to cover.
Okay,
I
so
don't
the
want to, I don't
text.
want to wordsmith it. You think
No,
a simple, it's just a bullet point. Is
I
that
would
all it
just
needs?
say, I would say Nescoment, no cars on the beach. I
So it
mean,
would be under the community character values on page 7. There's a series of bullets. Is that
yep, community character. We just went by it. The
Yep. I may get where the paragraph, where the
There it
pages
is.
are.
Community character values.
yeah?
Go.
Those are all
No,
organizations
it
there.
was it was up above this
Up
section.
above it.
Keep going.
Where? Oh, here?
There we go. Values. The values that the Nescoment
There you
community
go.
identified fall into 5 categories.
That's a category. Each one of these things corresponds to an entire section of the document. Now, you
Right.
want an
So,
entire section on the document which says no cars on the beach?
so Sarah, which of these would you put it in to have it most effective?
I'm looking.
Safety of persons or community? I would put under community character.
That's what I would guess.
Yeah, that's why I referred to page 7.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So
Can't be a bullet point there. It doesn't really fit as a bullet point. So we'll need a paragraph in somewhere.
okay.
Right.
Protecting
So
beach, limiting
uh,
vehicular access. And I would recommend not limiting it to emergency vehicles. I would limit it simply to authorized vehicles. Because anyone can get a drive on beach permit from OPRD for the right reasons to drive on the beach.
Which are, you mean like handicap? What would be the right reasons?
Authorized vehicles, if there's riprap revetment repairs, right? So when we talk about who can drive on the beach, it's OPRD has what's called a drive on beach permit. And you have to get a permit if you are not an emergency vehicle to drive on the beach. And so that's why I would, and that could be people doing dune restoration, scientific research, special permit and events, contractors. So I would just put authorized vehicles.
So could we say Nascombe Beach does not allow personal cars and vehicles on the beach?
we can say whatever you like. You
Well,
can
I'm
amplify on
asking,
page.
Yeah,
this is a
but
technical
we're not
point.
the authority. So I would say that something about values limited vehicular use of the beach to, like protect the beach by limiting vehicular access only to authorized vehicles or
Okay.
something of that.
Ilk.
Okay.
So
And so it's only government that can authorize those vehicles,
It's
right?
only OPRD.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah,
thank
and
you.
they have a specific process to do that.
Yep, thank you.
so here's the placeholder for you.
Okay, line 14.
Okay, I got you to
Got it.
amplify that.
I got it. I'll get you a
Got it?
paragraph, Tom.
Okay, thank you. I think, we like Corvallis, don't we? Don't
Yeah,
have-
that's spelled correctly.
And that doesn't have to be read. All right. Yeah, I'll fix it.
Okay.
I love Word. I do. I'm going to leave the rest of this. I will delete and just leave the policy 7 there so I don't renumber everything right now. And I'll reject that. Okay, so that's just hanging out in the air.
All right.
I'll delete it when I'm done. And when I'm done, actually, that reminds me, I need to do a save as. We are creating revision 41. Okay. We don't currently have any changes there. That's the only reason that's red is because things broke and I fixed them. Guy did have a comment on that, but we'll get to that when we can. Whoops. All right.
Is that you're talking about utilities one, Tom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only thing I would like to bring up when we have Sarah online. Do you want to wait, do that later?
I really would like to do it later because I'd like to
Fine,
get
fine,
through the
fine.
document.
Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. We do have the driveway connections, and I did delete that, which you pointed out, Guy, that this had been duplicated. So the duplication, which is later in the document, has been removed.
Okay.
Some people can contemplate this. Does anybody have issues with this?
No, those seem pretty.
So, um, one of the things, having just seen a, a cottage cluster, that and I know we did backward handstand cartwheels to prevent this, but if we ever get a lot of those going on in Nesco Inn, we will be updating our community plan for parking because they are squeezed within an inch of their life, and when you go see them, like when the realtor was showing the cottage cluster to the community, everyone parked everywhere because there was no place else to park. So I mean, there was a carport. It didn't have a garage. It just had a carport, but it's going to be a challenge, but I don't think we need to deal with it here.
And it wouldn't go in the community plan, Lynn. That would be something that would go through the zoning ordinance.
Great. Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay. Any issues with what's on the screen?
So policy 8. Do we go over policy 8?
There wasn't a pending change except for what, okay, if you'd like to cover that now, we can do that.
I'm sorry, Tom. It's in red on my draft.
That's because the document broke and I
Okay.
didn't remove all of the change bars for things that I had to put back the way they were.
Okay. So I'm going to just throw out one caveat for policy 8 is everything in the land division ordinance says where feasible. And I understand that the policy is encouraging underground lines. So just want to make sure that it can be encouraged. And Guy, there's no feasibility test in the land division ordinance.
I don't think this is where I had something to
So
talk.
I just want to make sure as we're walking through that.
So this is Guy's comment that I was trying to avoid, but we're here now. So that's
Sorry, Tom. I had a note here because it was red.
Okay.
Everything.
That's okay. Let's just do it.
Everything in the implementing ordinances says where feasible.
Okay. So any comment on Guy's comment here? It's the
So,
utility hubs.
right. And
Apparently.
so Sarah, and obviously I'm deferring to you as to know what, if anything, we can say. Um, what I am, uh, what I want to limit for our community is the potential of what happened in Tierra del Mar, where you have a communication hub, which somehow got classified under the same kind of transmission line as like a power line. And this is my opinion. I know that's not the way it came out, but a communication hub that deals with undersea cable, having a place, the uh,
Where the cable came on
where
shore.
the cable came on shore, where you develop
Mhm.
a thing in the middle of homes on the beach. You have a vault that becomes a cable setup. So that's what I was trying to say. And so I was thinking if we had language, I mean, everyone understands that PUD has to do what PUD does to serve
Mhm.
us electricity. And I was trying to come up with language that said if there any public utility transmission line that is necessary to serve our community, that's one thing. But when you get a communication hub that has nothing really directly to do with our community, um, that's that's what I was trying to do. Now, I don't know, going through that Tierra del Mar thing, it just really surprised me of how that all came out. And I know that the uh, it was looked at state level and all,
Mhm.
but is there any language that we can put in our community plan and in a way to define, maybe it's a definition of what a transmission line is? And I know it becomes part of an ordinance issue. Um, but do you see anything that would prevent that kind of thing from happening in our R1 or R3 zones?
Because Luba and the Court of Appeals have affirmed those determinations as utility facilities and consistent with statewide planning goal 11, no.
Yeah.
Now, what I will say is that I am an alternate for a state rules advisory committee that's happening right now to further discuss lawmaking around undersea cables. So it's myself and the community development director for Coos County because we seem to be the two most popular counties for undersea cables. So if something comes out of that rules advisory committee and into legislation, either through the legislature itself or LCDC, that could change the outcome of those determinations that were upheld in court. But because Luba and the Court of Appeals have both affirmed the Goal 11 determination and that it is a utility, then no, I cannot. Your recommendation would be inconsistent with what's been determined under statewide planning goals in the county's comprehensive plan.
Yeah. Um, and so it's not about the definition of what a transmission line is it?
Correct. It's a Goal 11 matter.
Because utility is not mentioned. I don't have it in front of me,
It's
but
the similar use determination that stuck. It's the precedent and the determination of that case that was affirmed.
yeah, well, yeah, I know, but
So I'm
um,
going to say we cannot do this at this time.
okay, don't
But
waste the time.
yeah,
That's
thank you.
fine. I was just looking for because the debate, at least at the county level, was about what's the definition of a transmission line. And we weren't talking about utility and the fact that an underground
Mhm.
ocean cable is a utility. We were
We
talking about what is a transmission line.
we
And
talked about it being a utility. That's in the record.
uh,
Because that's what Michael Cattell tried to challenge. So that's communication utilities are a new thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
Tom, under the only thing I have for policy 8 is at the end of plan developments. Yep, is if I think the land division ordinance says where feasible.
You want where instead of if?
Yes, please. And that's all I got on that.
Okay.
So, Guy, wasn't the comment that I thought the comment on the utility thing was whether the thing actually served the community or not.
Yeah, but
Or-
it doesn't make a difference now. I mean, that's what
Okay.
Sarah.
All
Yeah.
right.
And Randall, that's a good point too. And that was argued both through the county process, LUBA, and the Court of Appeals. And it all came back to goal 11 as being consistent.
Okay.
But like I said, I don't know what's going to come out of this RAC process and what may trickle into new legislation or through LCDC.
All right.
So I don't think the conversation's dead. I just think we need to see what work comes out of this current process.
I'm glad you'll be at the table.
Let us
Or I
know,
hope you'll be at the table.
Sarah. I know as part of that process, there's an opportunity for public comment. And if you would let us know, I mean, at least I know some people would be more than willing to make public comment on that rack.
Yes, I'm sitting on 3 racks right now, and then an alternate for that one. So yes, the
Okay.
other 3
Okay.
are helping, but yeah.
So here's an example where the implementation has nothing to do with the county. Can this not be a policy then?
Utility lines?
With the implementation, which I think I got from you was TCLDO and PUD. The county's not mentioned. Should it
Because
be?
we are
Or,
the TCLDO is the Tillamook County Land Division Ordinance. So
Oh,
that is
Tillamook, okay.
absolutely part of our process. Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I assumed the effort meant something different. Okay,
Okay,
so we're good?
We're good.
Okay, can we go on now to,
Can you
and
accept?
we're gonna
Yeah,
say,
accept that. Yay.
oh,
You're
it broke again.
Oh no.
Gosh.
Oh,
Let me do. I will. All right, I'll stop tracking for a moment. Oh, it decided to do it anyway. I'll fix it later. Okay. Did I mention that I love Word? Did I mention that ever?
Many times.
I wasn't sure if I had or not.
It's very poetic.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So,
driveway.
how about this?
I'm without words. It seems to be clear. As clear as it's going to be, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, we good with this? Okay, hearing no objections.
Well, so much of this is covered in the building codes, but
Driveway connections are not.
oh,
And
really?
construction of the driveway from the foundation to the property line, Guy, can be addressed through zoning, through geologic hazard report review, stormwater design, etc. But anything leaving the property line to the paved surface or the travel lane of the road right of way all becomes under Public Works' jurisdiction.
Okay.
So, are we good here?
I think so.
Yep.
Good, it didn't break.
Well, should we have public works under implementation?
For driveway connections,
Yeah.
so the driveway connection is at the property line,
So
not
they
at not at the
got
travel
it.
surface.
Yeah.
And your department is the implementer right there. All right, all right.
Right.
Okay.
So just, well, okay, hang on just a sec, thinking out loud, to Guy's point, but it is Public Works, as stated here, that can say a different connection width. It rarely happens, but they do have the authority to do that, and they would communicate that to us. But it ultimately falls under the zoning review. So do you feel like Public Works should be listed as an implementation entity, or is it good just with with community development?
Well, you're the ultimate decider. I mean, you may get input from different places, but
Yeah, but right, it's the decision of that comes through the zoning permit.
yeah.
Okay. Housing costs.
Sorry, real quick, policy 10. I would add Tillamook County Public Works to the implementation, because that does, when we talk about roads and transportation infrastructure in terms of land divisions, the land division ordinance reverts back to determinations by the county engineer. And the county engineer is the public works director.
Okay. I assume there's no argument with that.
Not from me.
Nope.
Okay, we've finished section 4. We're into section 5. That's an editorial.
Yep.
Once again, editorial. Now we had, oh, this is a rewrite. It's an awful sentence. And I will make it better.
Okay.
Guy pointed that out. I don't want to do that right now, but yeah, I'll make it better. Keeping the same sentiment. That's probably an accept of a extra. Okay, so we had some comments on housing or lot coverage. Well, housing and lot. Let's do policy 11. I don't know why your name is there, Sarah. If we put it there, will you ask for it? I don't know.
Probably. That's all right. Okay.
We're in page, what is it? Page 15.
Yep. So what I was going to do was to look at the policies in the goal 10 element of the comp plan and see if there was anything to add. So I still have to do that.
Is there an action here, though? I mean, we've got
No.
comp plan goal 10, so I don't see there as being an action.
No,
Okay, that's just your job,
that's just my job. Yep.
not to demean it by any
No.
means.
None taken.
Okay. Now we had lot coverage. I think that is covered by the comments. So let's go into the comments and we get rid of the page eject. Okay, there's nothing else other than these two. Got a comment from Lori and a comment from Lynn. And it's on lot coverage, and we don't have any introductory text for lot coverage. So what do we want to do?
So what I would say is that this would not be the place to explain how current standards do not satisfy needs.
Okay.
Okay. So in terms of what changes are possible to amend, lot coverage that is currently in place, Lynn, you are correct that they do satisfy what we have to do for middle housing work. And I would say as we continue to see legislation update for housing standards in general, so 2 of those racks that I am sitting on, one of them is actually considering establishing standards in all communities for lot coverage and setbacks as a method to remove barriers to housing production. So I would say that now is not the time to touch this. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure with or without Senate Bill 406, we could go backwards or add anything more restrictive.
Right. I think we are under a bright light right now as being one of the states that regulation has precluded housing, affordable housing.
Yes.
We can't escape it. Everyone's pointed their finger at us, and it's us. So I don't think we take on anything here.
No, we can't, and it's all changing.
Yep.
It's all changing so rapidly. We could put in different policies or different proposals. And part of the challenge right now is things are changing so fast at the state level. Local jurisdictions across the state cannot keep up with the rule changes. So
Okay.
anything
So-
written could become obsolete in the matter of a next legislative session.
So should we just deep six this?
I think this all gets deep six.
Okay.
Sorry, Lori. I know that's not what you want to hear. But I think we are at a point to where we may start having to demonstrate, and by we, I mean many jurisdictions across the state, that our current regulations are appropriate and are not barriers to housing production, because the governor's office has taken a very clear stance to look at everything, to the point to where most permitting reviews for housing could be done at the state level and will no longer be done at the local level. And we are talking about that right now.
Ouch. That doesn't sound right.
It's a big deal.
So this is just
yeah.
a philosophical statement that I know you have no power to implement, but I guess part of my idea about this document was that, and not in a policy, but just in some of the values and verbiage that we are expressing what our goals were as a community. And what I'm hearing from you is that they're impractical and they're not the goals of the moment for the state. So part of me says there still are a goal, I think, of many people in this community.
Yeah.
But I also know it needs to be a useful document. So I definitely hear what you're saying. And I question sometimes that line of, well, then do we not say what we really want here? And I know that the tenor of the decisions that are being made are, we only talk about the things we actually could have an effect on. And so I get it that issue is off the table based on that criteria.
Yeah, and I'd say again, that's where in the values and the vision, like preserving open space and natural vegetation, right? That's where that voice can be heard. But when it comes to policy-driven statements, in looking at this in terms of starting at lot coverage and the comments, like that's not, it won't be effective, and it most likely would not be able to stay. But if there's a way to weave that to where that community voice is not lost in the vision and the values, what the community desires in terms of open space.
Now, we do have statements in the values that do talk about being family friendly and open space. So I
Yeah.
mean, that is mentioned,
That is where,
just,
yeah.
but there's nothing, policy that we can make that would help that.
I mean, I actually lived for 25 years in inner Southeast Portland, where the buildings are quite tight with each other. And some of the buildings, the windows look right into each other, and others of them are very, very close. And because they were thoughtfully designed, there's quite a bit of privacy.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, some of the goals that I think of for the lot coverage, I mean, part of me says let that person do whatever they want with the lot coverage, as long as they're doing it in a way that doesn't infringe on their neighbors on every side of them that built their houses 60 years ago and didn't have and weren't planning their windows with someone right next door to them, where the new building knows where the windows are next door and could take into account that, and I know that that's a really philosophical opinion, and it's very hard to write into a document like this, but that's the kind of things that my brain is like, how can we make this document encourage this value that we know Nesqua's going to change. We know it's going to get more dense. That's the way the world is. But how can we make people have the goal? How can we inspire people to have the goal to think about what they're doing and how it affects their neighbors? And I know that that's a goal that can only be voluntarily enforced, that the county is not going to enforce that rule. They're not going to look at where every window is placed, et cetera.
Well, but Sarah, isn't it true when we put our garage on, all of our neighbors got a chance to comment?
It was because you went through a special land use review process, Lynn. That doesn't happen all of the time.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But to
That
Laura,
that
yeah.
was an effective process. They did all come talk to us. I don't know how many came and talked to
Yeah.
you, but
Yes.
and I actually think that neighbor to neighbor thing can be really powerful when someone says, I've got this tree here, I've got this, that there, whatever. Um, but okay, I thought that was SOP. So if it's not,
Yeah.
then it doesn't help,
No.
to Lori's point.
But
Right.
Sarah,
In the
haven't you said in the past that everybody gets to comment, but you don't really make the decisions on those comments unless that person can specifically say how an ordinance or a policy is being harmed by whatever it is they're complaining about? Like, they couldn't just say their window is going to look right into my bedroom window,
right.
that would, you would say, I respect the fact that that's a problem for you, but I can't do anything about it. Is that true?
That is right. That is true. So because the criteria don't contemplate something like that. But it's only for certain types of land use reviews. So building permits and zoning permits are not required to go through those types of processes if they meet code. But Lori, to your point with window orientation, where that can become part of a review process is in building codes. Because for fire and life safety requirements, depending on how close structures are to one another, there is something about window orientation and that relationship between two different homes. But it's typically when the homes are much closer together than what we're talking about.
Sarah,
Mhm.
and I may be missing some, misremembering something here, but when we did Neoconi and when they came up with their proposed revisions, which included lot coverage,
The community
right?
proposed.
Right. And do I remember you or someone saying that DLCD did not weigh in on their proposal to shrink lot coverage? They had no lot coverage to start with,
Correct.
And then they went to like 40%, or I can't even remember what it was, something like
Right. Right.
that.
So what happened there was that was something that the working group proposed that they
Right,
felt very strongly about.
right. But didn't you
Yeah.
say during the hearing, why I remember this is that because I remember thinking surprised that DLCD wouldn't have said that's that's totally you can't do what you just did, go from no lot coverage to 40% with clearly with the intent of limiting housing.
So that's why it didn't move forward, is
Well, that's
because
why,
the
yeah,
LCD position is if you do it for one, you got to do it for all, right? So you can't let a single family dwelling be as big as you want, but then regulate size lot coverage for duplex, triplex, fourplex. You have to treat them all the same.
but
So that,
it didn't care that they dropped from 100 to 40. I mean, let's just
well,
say,
there were concerns about that came from the Housing Accountability Production Office.
oh yeah, and from
That is
the,
where
yeah,
the Planning Commission and the Board of County Commissioners agreed it would become a barrier and too restrictive.
right.
And that's why it was not adopted.
Well, right, and that was my position
Correct.
on
So
there,
that
that it shouldn't be. But I thought that DLCD did not have a position on the lot coverage.
as long as it applied to everyone,
Yeah,
that wasn't their issue. But HAPO is a completely different animal subset of DLCD. And when I would have done post, like let's say the county would have adopted those standards, it is
yeah,
highly likely that HAPA would have appealed that, feeling that it was too restrictive. That was a possibility.
yeah,
For me, it was working with a group of individuals that felt very strongly that they wanted to propose rules,
yeah,
just like Oceanside.
yeah,
And in both of those instances, I was directed to go back and fix it
yeah.
because of the concerns about barriers to housing production.
Yeah, I mean, clearly that's what it was, and that's why I voted why I did. But
Yeah,
okay,
right,
all right.
exactly. Okay.
Okay, are we good with that? So we continue on?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, land use, Guy, you had a proposal a long time ago,
Uh-oh.
and I don't think we ever got this far to be able to consider it. This goes along the
And I,
lines of,
and I
go
think
ahead.
it's got to be going back to the statement about the beach. Um, is that it's a value that we are a residential community. And I don't think there's anything, I mean, we have some recommendations, kind of going back to what Lynn and I worked on a couple of years ago about what, in the land use ordinance, I mean, with R1 and R3, in terms of prioritizing housing to make non-housing uses in R1 and R3 as conditional use, not outright. Um, and I don't, it doesn't ban them. It forces any non-residential use in those two zones to go through a conditional use process, which would say, does it fit? Does it work within where it's being planned? That kind of stuff. Um, I get, theoretically, I'd love to see that happen. I know that there's going to be a lot of barriers to that, and Sarah's going to remind us that we can't change, we can't even move non-residential uses in those two zones to conditional uses. Am I correct, Sarah?
It would open up the county to some pretty serious litigation, and the
Yeah,
county is not prepared to take those risks at this time.
yeah. Okay, that's what that
So,
was about.
so what's the resolution here?
Take it out.
Take it out.
Land use altogether?
No, I didn't see what's
So
the,
are you talking about policy 13?
Yeah, that policy 13 is what that was. The policy numbers had changed, so I made that note that I thought the guy's comment was aimed at Policy
Where's
13.
policy
What is it?
13? Could you go back to see, can we look at
Yeah.
policy 13?
It's on the screen.
Oh, down below. Um,
So the only thing I would say about policy 13 is that is the conditional use review process. Those
Right.
criteria for proposals within the NESCO and community boundary that are subject to conditional use review, because there's that consistency with the comprehensive plan, it already points back to the community plan policies.
Right. And
So,
what I was trying to do is move some of those non-residential uses to conditional use. What I
Which,
was thinking.
yeah.
Yeah. So,
okay, so the first thing is this highlighted thing, that doesn't work. Is that correct?
Correct.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I better turn on screen checking. Now, what about this land use policy? What I think I heard was this is already how it works. Do we need to have it if this is how it works? Or I need some guidance here.
So to me, I don't think this is needed because this is the conditional use review process. And if we look at a zone change map amendment or a legislative text amendment, that all points back, the criteria specifically point back to consistency with the goals and policies of the county's comprehensive plan, which by default, for those types of applications or proposals within the NESCO and community boundary, it's going to require evaluation with the policies of the community plan.
So what I think I heard you say is this actually doesn't do anything for us.
It does not do anything for you.
No.
Okay.
See, we're making this document shorter, tighter.
And I would say, yeah.
And
So, Tom, and then the other question that I had was the next line of red review text.
Oh, oh,
I heard it up. Did you want me to do something that I'm not doing?
No. I'm just wondering why lines 9 through 16, which are now 21 through 2, are here.
not the repeat sound that I
Okay, so
brought up.
basically that.
Yeah.
And this was a repeat, so I'm going to accept that deletion. Okay, so that's ugly. Anyway, so this is the sentences in question. I have no recollection where this came from. It's red because it was either moved, although it should be noted. There is a possibility that it's red because the document broke and that happened. I don't know. Let's look at it. Does it bias anything?
Maybe we already deal with it. That's
We do.
I think so. I think
Yeah.
we do. So I'm gonna remove it.
yeah.
We had this policy was
That the land division policy can also, we've already established.
so we don't need this.
No.
Okay.
And I think that policy's already in the back there. I think that was a repeat too.
Okay. Did I mention that? No, I did mention that. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to blame every mistake I make on Word, whether it is or not. So we got stuff that we got directly from you, Sarah. And hopefully I've transliterated them into the document well enough.
Yeah. So do you think that the heartburn I have is limited at best and safe at worst? I think that's a bit subjective.
Mhm.
I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying in terms of the plan.
My language, I'm looking at it.
Well, I was going to say, I don't think I wrote this.
I wrote it.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
I
Correct
You know, personally,
attributes.
I have an issue with skinny streets. I don't like them.
oh
I think they are horrible and they are dangerous. Just my opinion.
That's the opinion of some previous public works directors as well.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
and I believe your community plan right now that was developed in the late 90s values skinny streets.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, so
I
that
wouldn't want skinny streets where I live.
Well,
I have them. I don't like them.
you should go to Japan. You would see these as very generous streets.
I understand. Been there. I don't live in Japan. That's only one of the reasons.
Very scary
So
to drive on those.
I think pedestrian access to 101. So I don't know, Guy, have you seen the big road that is on, not road, it's a double wide bike path that's to the left of 101 as you drive into Lincoln City, right across from the golf course. Had to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
multi-million-dollar piece of cement excavation work.
I think it's an extension. What I understood was an extension that they're trying to develop this coastal pathway.
Right.
Right.
And it looks like that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah,
The,
yeah.
the only thing is, it goes from almost nowhere to almost no. I mean, it's literally
I think it's
getting to
eventually,
it could be dangerous.
yeah, I think it's leading people to get over to Otis eventually, then what you would do is take the old 101 around. That would be the bike pathway.
Yeah.
That's what I heard anyways. But anyways, so I wrote this up, I think because Tom wanted more language about what we were meaning. I don't know why it's under transportation, but it really is about safety in terms of pedestrian and non-vehicle vehicular traffic.
So give me a better title and I'll be happy to type it in.
Yeah.
Pedestrian safety?
Can I, Tom, would the group be okay if I talk to Chris about this piece? And I would recommend, Sky, I appreciate what you're trying to do. Just rather have him see it before we get too far down so we're not in a public hearing and he starts raising concerns with how we've captured some of this from his.
Yeah, and you can see at the bottom that it's like what we recommendation is to work with ODOT and the county
Yeah.
to look at ways to develop these safety corridors.
And are you guys, how many of you guys are planning on attending that upcoming ODOT Public Works Transportation
Yeah.
System Plan meeting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it, are folks coming to that? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because I think that might also, I think that is the platform to express these concerns. I will be on there just taking notes, thinking about feedback and comments that can be integrated into this piece of the community plan?
Yeah, and some is ODOT related, but there's a lot here that's not. And,
Yeah.
we're talking about certainly uh, both pedestrian and bicycle access along the west side of 101 between our neighborhoods. And that's the concern. And I don't know if, ODOT is not going to be out there. Well, maybe they will. Maybe they see an opportunity to put some kind of
Right.
bicycle path or something like they did going into Lincoln City. But
Well, to me, the punchline here is a couple of things. You want safe, multimodal pedestrian improvements for greater community connectivity, and you want a safe passage along and across Highway 101. Is that correct?
yeah, I think that the way our communities, our neighborhoods connect is north to south, south to north. And so that's going to require, whether it's you do it out along 101 or you do it off of 101 or whatever.
Actually, it's east-west as well, because we have half the community, half of the neighborhoods on the other side of the
Well,
101.
and then that's the cross period, right?
Right.
Cross-
Yeah.
yeah. And that's what certainly ODOT would be involved in. I mean, we can bring that up.
Is that what, so do you guys plan on, because they're going to be there, they have a relatively short presentation and then it's all about community dialogue and feedback. So I'm assuming these are the things you guys are really going to bring up and try to hit home as a community with ODOT. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's this the April 8th meeting?
Yes.
Yeah.
The other thing, sorry, Tom, the other thing about that's just on a sidebar, well, I've got it in my brain. I'll probably send out to the NCAC email address an updated meeting link or a reminder to check your junk folder for your registration link, because we've had a heck of a time getting people on these meetings so far. So we've held a couple of them. So just if you can help me spread the word, if you've registered and you don't see anything, check your junk email. Because I want to make sure you guys get in that meeting.
Yeah, the last general meeting of the NCAC, we put out the word that Chris was going to be there, and we had more attendance than we'd had in a long time. So we have interest. We just need to make sure people are aware.
Yeah. But yeah, that's going to be the trick for that meeting. And if you guys email me, I will have my email open that night and I will send out direct links for people that are having a hard time getting on. Okay, so I think, Guy, I appreciate what you've done here. I'd like to work on this and bring it back.
Okay.
Work on it with Public Works and ODOT.
So is there a better term than transportation that we can use for our title?
About safety for multimodal or pedestrian and bicycle traffic. I guess that would be transferred. Oh, you were right.
Bicycle, come on.
You were right with by. There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good place.
And
I'll write that down.
And we're going to say Sarah's going to.
Well, the policy says, 14 says that we're going to work with the county and the state to come up with some plans and ideas. So
Yeah.
So other than the skinny streets, which would be a conversation, what needs to be reviewed, Sarah?
So we are reviewing skinny streets?
no.
No. Okay.
Sorry, Tom.
I
I'm
love
just
them.
saying, I'm just saying, I don't like that paragraph. It's in, that, everything which is there is gonna be there. Having new skinny streets, I think is a bad idea.
The land division ordinance won't allow for them. There are predetermined right-of-way widths.
Right.
Actually,
I'm
let
just
me,
saying the ones that are there are grandfathered. They can't be
Yeah,
wide. They can't, they're,
right.
can't be narrower
yeah.
That was my
unless
point.
unless Public Works so Public Works determines the travel surface width, because you've got the road right-of-way, which is prescriptive for how wide a right-of-way needs to be. But the travel surface within the road right-of-way is also largely prescriptive. It depends on the street type, like the street classification, whether it's a minor local, arterial collector. But at the end of the day, if a new development came in and they wanted to propose skinny streets, it would ultimately be the public works director as the county engineer. The planning commission would look at that person for their technical and professional expertise to say whether or not that was okay.
Right. Right.
But I think in terms of like already developed areas like the village, but I think like when we get into this conversation at this meeting on the 8th, you may hear things like making some of the roads one way because the roads are skinny. And when you have a lot of needs, and if the desire is to have more community connectivity and safer pedestrian paths, those are things that you're probably going to be asked for your opinion on.
So, the transportation bill would supplant county funds in maintaining roads. Is that correct?
So the transportation bill, oh God, now I know enough just to be dangerous. So I'm going to refer you back to the recording of Chris's presentation.
Right.
But some of that money would come to Public Works locally, right? But you also have to remember there's a difference between county maintained roads and local access roads. And not all of your roads are county maintained roads.
None of them.
I think the thing that would be interesting, and I think this is the kind of thing that people would address if Department of Transportation got excited about changing the roads in the village, is it's hard to understand. I mean, this is the quintessential if it ain't broke, don't fix it thing, right? Because this is the newspaper articles say Nescoin is still one of those places where you can walk and ride your bike and kids can be free and blah, 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 blah. And so I just think there would be a battle in the village. I don't know about the rest of the community. So I will check in my spam filter. I didn't get a notice of that meeting, but I'll check and make sure. And I I would really, in terms of people getting killed and danger, it's the I-5 crossing of the highway. I mean, that's and the food, the grocery thing, the farmer's market had to be put on that side of the highway because it couldn't be in the state park. That's the parking lot.
That's right.
And so to me, if there's endless money coming out of this and we're going to look at expanding roads and stuff, that's one thing, but I think there should be a priority on that crossing if you're concerned about safety.
Mm-hmm.
So Sarah, whose meeting is this transportation meeting? Is it Chris's or is it ODOT's?
Both, because they're working on the transportation system plan updates together, and the focus is on unincorporated communities. So none of the cities are participating in this. This is just our unincorporated communities, and the focus is multimodal and pedestrian paths.
Oh,
So
I
which
didn't
is
know.
I
why,
didn't
yeah,
understand that.
I didn't
Yeah,
know that. Oh, all right.
that's my take on it. That's if you there's some vehicular pieces to it, but it's mostly ped and multimodal, which is why some of what comes out of that discussion may be relevant to put in this section.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that, and that's great. And I can't think of a road in any of our neighborhoods that is not a local access road. Um, I mean, it's anyways, so that's I don't think we're going to change that. I mean, as Chris has told us, that's a county uh, decision not to maintain local access roads. So
But
we're not going anywhere
the
there.
village has not got local, the village are county maintained roads. It has
No,
a lot of them.
no, none of them.
Well, that's the way they're,
I
okay,
That's the way they're
Sarah,
marked on the map.
No,
Yeah.
that's what I'm looking at.
they're all local access. There's not a county
That's not
maintained
what
road.
Chris said. He said the ones that were
No, it's
marked in yellow or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Go back that you guys should have his slides and that map as part of the recording of that. And you know what, Guy, I'm gonna make a note here to ask Chris to
Rand, do you have the map?
Well, I don't have it at the tip of my fingers, but
I've got it at the tip of my fingers.
now you can go to
there you
GIS
go.
and look at
Tom's
it.
got it.
Yeah.
So if you zero in, there's only a few roads that are termed local access roads, and they're
County
gravel.
roads, this
They're
is a
gravel.
new tick box, county roads.
Where do you
And
see
you
it
can,
in the village? There's a county road. I don't.
yep, see all well, you may not be able to see them because they're a color which is not particularly well defined. Sorry.
Yeah.
No.
Ochre.
Yeah, I would guess you wouldn't be able to see that.
I can
Let
see.
me
I
just-
can see this.
Oh yeah, we can see it, but Guy can't.
Those are county maintained roads.
Yeah.
They are,
The
and
ones
these are not.
They are inventoried in the maintenance system, which is
That's a clarification.
We're going
there's
till
only so
midnight,
much
guys.
money. There's only so much money in the pot every year. But
Yeah,
the
no.
yellow ones, like Hot Creek Hills, are all local access roads. That's why they're shaded yellow. And some of the roads in the village are also shaded yellow.
Yeah, a little farther north here. A little farther north.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
here,
there's
and
little ones.
here, and here.
So shaded yellow are county maintained roads.
Shaded yellow are local access roads.
Oh,
That are
local
not
access.
maintained by the county.
Right.
No, local
They're
access
not.
are not.
They are eligible to be maintained, I think.
Yes, but the county,
But they're not.
the county commissioners have voted not to maintain them
Years ago.
years ago.
Yeah. And when the federal money started drying up,
They were
then
the first
got
to go.
serious. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
eligible, but not doable. Okay,
Well,
fine.
and going
Thanks,
back,
Don.
yeah, and going back to policy 14,
Yeah.
right? What this policy, when you talk about the access management plan, I think we reword some of this to talk about what's happening now, which is the transportation system improvement plan.
Yeah, I mean, if there's all this money, let's get the access management plan done.
Right. Well, yeah, Lynn, you should talk to Chris. I don't know how much money that's going to look like, but the idea is that the meetings that we're having today on this plan that's being developed with ODOT, which it was just a big deal that we got the grant to be able to do this plan update. This plan update is then what will inform us moving forward when money comes available of what improvements to make.
And the fact that half of 101 fell off the hill at the holidays, is that in this plan or the existing? Is that the existing plan or does that come out of ODOT? That's got to be
Are you
millions.
talking about Cascade Head or
Yep.
Sandley Road?
Yep, Cascade Head looks like millions of dollars worth
Oh
of
yeah, that's a good question. When they get ready and have the ability to repair that, where are those funds coming out of?
It's
Yeah.
being, you're talking about Cascade Head 101,
Yeah.
it's being repaired now.
Yeah,
Right.
And I would guess that's the state doing that.
Yes.
yeah. That's
But
what
to Lynn's
Is it
point,
just,
where did they pull that money from
Yeah,
to
that's
do the
my
work?
question.
know.
Is that, was that in the budget?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
as
So
long as you're doing it, I don't care.
and like policy 15, I think policy 15 is a concept that should be brought up at this meeting,
Right.
Yep.
right? That's, I mean, if you guys want that, that should be advocated for. So it goes in the county's transportation system improvement plan.
Yeah.
And then we put stuff like that in the community plan as well. So then if and when that money comes online,
Got a
we're
place.
aligned.
Yeah.
So, Sarah, one of the things, and I'll try and get this into the ODOT process, but one of the things they do in Washington, which is brilliant, is areas like 101 where you have to cross, but it's not a lot of intensive regular crossing. They have these little electronic posts with very simple electronic lights, and you just push the button and you walk across, and it sets lights along the way so that no one's rushing into you. I mean, it's like a, I would guess, a very affordable fix, and I've never seen them in Oregon, but Washington uses them a lot. I'll take
Lincoln
a
City,
picture in the morning.
no, Lincoln City has got a dozen of them.
Yeah, and Pacific
These are
City,
better than Lincoln Cities. I mean, they're more modern. I bet they're cheaper. But anyway, I'll take a picture and I'll save it for future use.
Yeah.
you should, and then send it to Chris as a follow-up after that meeting and say, this is what I'm talking about.
Yep, I'll do that.
Or send it to Chris beforehand, say, I'm going to be asking a question about this.
Yeah, I was just,
There's
Tom
an
took the
idea.
words right out of my mouth.
But I think in general, what we're saying is that let's wait until after the 8th and see if we can then have future discussions with Chris and or whoever else about this whole section.
Yep.
I think we're all on the same page what we want. It's just a matter of how we're going to express. I mean, there may be something here that we can tag onto and put in our community plan.
How, just for sake of context of conversation, how do you guys feel if I take these pages, make sure they understand it's a draft and we're working on it? We know there's some language updates. But how do you feel if I send this to them early?
Oh yeah, sure.
I am on the
Absolutely.
project team and I do we meet frequently.
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
It's
That'd
a
be
public
great.
document. It's a public document.
It
No
is a
restrictions on it.
Yep. Okay. So let's put a note up here. Send transportation stuff to Chris.
So is the decision to leave it red?
Yes.
Or we
Yeah.
are happy
For now.
with it as it
Sure.
is?
Leave it as
Okay.
it
Yeah,
is.
leave it
and
red.
leave it red.
Okay. And we're going to do something about rewording some of this or not?
Yes.
Okay. As I said, my concern about skinny streets is they're fine where they are. I don't want any more. But that's my,
Thank you.
Policy 20, which is the storm drainage master plan.
okay, can we,
18.
Yeah.
okay.
There you go. Okay.
The reason it's split like that is there's a page break there.
Yeah. So the community-wide storm drainage master plan would be done by community development and public works.
Yeah.
Some of these I just guessed because we didn't have any implementation. So,
Yeah. It's not, not.
okay, it's fine. Take no offense at being told that I'm completely incorrect. So tell me what to put here.
You would put community development and public works.
Right. That's an implementation. But
Yeah.
Sarah, where are we countywide on storm drainage management plans?
We are not even close,
Yes,
just
I
to
thought.
be bluntly honest, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And every time we try to walk into that conversation, there are so many challenges and complexities.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say it's still on my list. I know it's still on Chris's list.
Yeah.
I just, basically what we need is a grant from ODOT to get their engineers and their experts to help us do it. It'll start with an evaluation of existing infrastructure, which especially private property and private development, we don't have all of that information. And then come the maintenance and the other pieces that will follow that in development of a plan. And
Mhm.
it's become incredibly complex. And I'm not saying it can't be done, but the resources and the staffing resources outside of the county and the money that it is going to cost to put that together, even community by community, is significant. So I'm totally cool with a policy about encouraging the development. And I would say encourage the development of a community-wide storm drainage master plan. But I have absolutely no idea when that opportunity will come up. We continue to apply for grants as things become available to us through ODOT for something like that, but we've never been successful in getting one yet.
We do for development, I mean, major housing developments. I mean, we require
Mhm.
storm drainage plans,
Yes,
some
and
of which are
maintenance,
flimsy at best.
right? But we also require maintenance agreements, right? So anything
Right.
new moving forward,
We're good.
right? But you got to remember, we didn't put that in the ordinance until 2015.
Yeah.
So
I
the
think
challenge,
wasn't it after Sahali?
it was when I did the land division ordinance update because I got a grant from DLCD to do the work.
Yeah. I just remember at Sahali, the development there where they did not really either do what they said they were going to do or whatever, but major issue but anyways,
Yeah.
So I'd like to go back and unread some of these things if we can. Um, So we're
Well,
gonna leave 15 as is, put about 16.
I would leave 16 as it is. I'd like to
yeah,
have take a look at that.
yeah.
My understanding is this is stuff that you guys gave us, is it not? Did I mess up?
Not all,
And guys' paragraphs, I understand. See, that's one of the reasons I want to get rid of the red so we can identify where these things came from. And I
yeah.
want to get rid of the red so that we can make sure that we understand what's changed, who's proposing the change. Because if we don't do that, we're going to be where we are a year from now. Okay. So if you don't want to take it back, fine, you can have it back. But we got to make sure that we know who's saying it, and whether or not we agree with it.
Mhm.
And couldn't it be just that after Sarah reviews them, that she comes to our next meeting and just says all of this is approved, or makes a green line version that shows what she can approve? Would that help you, Tom?
I will take gladly all the help I can get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I have the notation, Tom. But so one thing that I think would be helpful, because part of this I'm sitting, okay, yes, I did work on that language, right? Because Tom, to your point, I also am trying to Remember, I wish I would have printed that document that I gave to you. I would recommend, because we're also not going to get through this whole thing, if it's okay with everyone, let's not make any changes or edits. And if you have any notes or comments, that they get held until the next meeting, because I think there's a lot of traffic with Tom back and forth with a lot of us individually. But it's hard to keep up with the changes if we don't always know where those came from or can remember where they came from, or there's edits to edits in between our meetings. And I for one would like to just be able to continue to go through this with everybody before we make any more changes in terms of things that are still red. I don't know, because I'm looking, we've got all this housing stuff, or there's more to it here after these pages. But if Tom keeps making changes, I just feel like the red is going to continue to be red.
Well, I
And
don't think, Sarah, I don't think any of us are going to make any, I'll give Tom the paragraph he asked for, but I would suggest none of us make any changes till you and Tom have synced up.
And thank you, Lynn. And I would say, and with the group, not just Tom and I, but like Guy, I appreciate your comments. And I didn't get these until today. So I haven't seen these.
What comment?
The
I,
comment,
I got them Friday and I was unable to do anything till today, so.
right. So just, I mean, if Tom would have put these into the draft, I'm just trying to say if we can have Tom do the edits we agree to today, but then no more edits are made until we work through the next part.
Yeah, I
Because
was feeling responsible that Tom asked for comments and I hadn't gotten to it. So I was trying to, I think I sent him 4 or 5 emails as I was going through the pages with different thoughts.
well, and I think, Guy, I think you've got some relevant points here, but I think as a group, before they go in or out of the document, I think we should discuss them.
Well, yeah, that's what we put them in there. But all the stuff on the connectedness between neighborhoods and that was done a couple months ago.
Right. I understand that.
Yeah, I didn't write most of the things I sent Tom this past week were more editorial things. I think there's only one or a couple that, as Tom mentioned, that need to be discussed, and we've already discussed them today. So most of the things were just clarification things, word choices, that kind of stuff that I gave him. So
I think,
So-
yeah, we're safe at not doing too many moves until we hear back about this.
yeah, I could
Okay,
give it a rest. I don't care. That's fine.
Tom would
So-
rather
Just
be-
feeling more, I was just feeling leaving poor Tom stranded, and he's going to come to this meeting and say, none of you made any comments on my, so I just wanted to make sure he got some. And
Okay.
Good.
so in the future, I will, with the most recent document, I will have a summary of proposed changes and more or less in the format that I put Guy's comments in. It would be useful for me if you put them in actual documents, but I'll take them however I can get it. Preferably not a used bar napkin. Other than that, I'm okay.
one of the problems with sending emails to you, Tom, is I always try to copy Rand on anything I send you.
But you shouldn't.
Well, I know, but I was trying to copy somebody. But of course, Rand's email, because it was going unattended, was filled, and I didn't know that. And then all of a sudden, I looked at all these things that never got delivered to you because Rand was being copied, and it wouldn't go through because his email thing was full.
I don't.
So a lot of that stuff came to you late on Friday, anyways. But it had been done earlier in the week, I think, but I didn't
Okay.
understand it being held.
Yeah,
Well, and
email was definitely strange last week.
for public meeting law compliance, I do think holding those comments until we meet again as a group, right?
Actually, sending them to me would be okay. That way
Yeah.
I can summarize them into one document, which I won't publish until the actual meeting. Does that work, Sarah?
It does. It's just then yes, it works. Just as long as it's like It's just, I think that's just definitely like the discussion about those comments should wait to occur until we're in our
Oh,
meeting.
but there was no discussion on the comments, so
Yeah.
yeah, they were just.
But it could have been interpreted that way.
Yeah, we've got
We've been
discussion point
wrestling
on-
with OPML in the other committee, other subcommittee. Anyway, before we go too much further, I think we have agreement on this. Can I make this black or not?
Yes,
Of drainage.
yeah, that one I think so.
Okay. So have we got agreement in principle how we go forward for changes, proposed changes?
Yeah.
Send them to me. I'll summarize them and put them together in order so that the same sections are in our proximal, and I'll identify where they came from.
Okay.
That
And
would be great.
I won't necessarily, well, if I have input, I'll have input and I'll just add it along, but I'm the only one that gets to do that. So there.
Yes,
Okay.
yep.
Okay. Sutton Creek is also just a editorial.
Okay, so let's talk about this policy. So I'm going to tell you what the language of the cluster subdivision says.
Where are we? What policy?
Oh, which one?
21.
Which one?
Oh,
21.
wetland-
Okay.
wetland zone.
Yep, there where you have Sarah review. Okay,
That is page 19.
probably 19 now. Okay, so when we're talking about cluster subdivisions and what can count, what it states is that the total acreage of the tract to be developed minus the total area of all existing easements, roads, or rights of way. And then here's the important part. And all other areas which cannot be developed due to the existence of sensitive natural features protected by the requirements of this ordinance is considered the gross acreage of the tract to be developed. So it's sensitive areas protected by this ordinance. Not all wetlands are protected by the ordinance. It is only wetlands that are inventoried by the Goal 5 element of the county's comprehensive plan.
Yeah.
The freshwater wetland overlay zone allows for development provided you have a state of Oregon fill removal permit. And all wetlands are considered to be notification wetlands through that DSL process if they are not inventoried in the Goal 5 element of the comp plan. So when we look at that large wetland area in South Beach, on that, I forget how many acres of property that is, those are notification wetlands. So we can say protected wetland as long as it's understood that protected wetland means inventoried in the Goal 5 element of the county's comprehensive plan.
Mhm.
So isn't it important, Sarah, in this document to say there are two wetlands in the community plan zone area, and one is this and one is that? I mean, shouldn't we just, the problem is when we write, if we're just specific about the wetlands we're talking about, that makes it simpler for the reader. I mean, because, so.
Sorry. My question is, if this is already outlined in the ordinance, in the land division ordinance, and in the zoning, in the land use ordinance, do you need that policy?
What if the policy was, just a question, what if the policy was considered to be changed? Then we don't have any, I mean, this is sort of a, if you ever thought about changing it, we wouldn't be in favor.
Right. No, I agree. And I understand that. I just, again, the education behind this policy in terms of how and what kinds of wetlands are regulated, right? Because the wetlands at the golf course, at the old, golf course on the east side of Highway 101, those are not those are not Goal
Yeah,
5
that's what I
inventory.
was just thinking about, and it's gotten worse over there. I mean, clearly it's a wetland. I mean, it's
So
become,
that,
yeah,
right,
and that's because of the beaver activity that's occurred there. It's redirected Hawk Creek.
correct.
Um, so very different, even in the last 5 years, it's turned
Mhm.
into something that it hasn't been. Now, Sarah, though, if somebody were to come in there and and wanted to develop that land, wouldn't one of the requirements for them to have a wetland delineation done as part
It
of the
would,
development?
correct. But the delineation doesn't mean they can't propose development activity within the wetlands, right? That's why we always have that condition of approval. Number one,
Yeah, yeah.
development shall stay out, or prior to commencement of development activities, you have to provide me with your state fill removal permit.
So how does the community, well, that's private land.
Right.
So it's not up to anyone except the owner of the land to have it reclassified, right? I mean, the community can't do anything about that.
Right. So the owner could say, I would like to do a legislative text amendment to
Yeah,
amend the goal 5 element of the county's comprehensive plan to inventory my wetlands.
yeah, but that's the only way it would happen.
But
Right.
isn't Sarah, and maybe this is what you just said and I just didn't get it.
Sure.
This provision, no protected wetland or otherwise unbuildable, it can be counted as developable land for cluster. This is already covered in the wetland law, the permitting law,
Correct.
and now the clustered development law. Isn't
Mhm.
that correct?
Yes.
So I think it's confusing to have it in here because it kind of sounds like it's an aspirational thing when in effect it's got a whole bunch of other policies and laws that cover it, and our saying it is moot.
Well, and when you look at the word, so if the community feels strongly that this should stay in, we have to make it clear that protected in the county's goal 5 element of the comprehensive plan, right? We've got to say what protected means.
Well, and which wetlands are what in Nescoin today, right? I mean, if you're going to explain that, you should say, here's our map, and this is the designation of the wetlands that are currently exist.
Right.
So that's what we have to decide. I mean,
That's
to
it.
me, it's redundant, or it's covered elsewhere, but it's not
Does
going
it
to have.
go in, or does it go in the
My
back?
point earlier was that if that was to be changed, we wouldn't have any record of having us being opposed to it. This gives us a record of being on record as this is a good idea. Let's keep doing it. I don't know if that's appropriate or not, but that's my thought.
So, Tom, does it address that point by us saying the community plan suggests that state law, as of the date of this community plan, has the appropriate protections intact for wetlands? I mean,
That's fine with me. I
because I think this is one where we've got it covered. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sarah, but
Mhm.
I, I think also, well, here to put it another way, if someone's going to develop clustered development, um, they're going to have to go through the process
Mhm.
if they want to develop in those wetlands. They're going to have to go through a process which the community plan would be referred to in that process, right? To make
The
sure that it
the
all fits together. And so then you say, um, if we have a proviso, if policy 21 is the current state of wetland and unbuildable land development for clustered development, the current rules and regulations for wetlands um, reflect the community plan's values.
So the
Except
land,
that doesn't age well.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
the land division criteria do not contemplate the comprehensive plan. They do contemplate the applicable provisions of the land use ordinance. But land divisions do not require analysis for compliance with the comprehensive plan. It is not part of the criteria. So think about if I have a conditional use application that requires that analysis, I open the comprehensive plan, which includes the community plan. If I'm working on an application that does not require an analysis of the comprehensive plan, the book stays closed.
Right, but doesn't the book open based on the fact that it's wetlands and unbuildable land?
There is no definition for unbuildable land.
Okay. Okay, so that should go out anyway, because there isn't,
Correct.
that doesn't exist.
Right.
But I think if we say, um,
Can I frame this a different way? If someone wanted to challenge or appeal a land division decision because there were wetlands on the property and they pointed to policies in the community plan, there is no criteria part of the decision-making process for a land division that points back to the community plan. Right? So if decisions are criteria-based and those criteria don't give me the opportunity to open the book, but what those criteria do is give me the opportunity to look at overlay zones and other relevant sections of the land use ordinance, which is where the freshwater overlay zone is embedded.
okay, so given all that, your recommendation is we leave how much of this language in, if any?
You can leave in what is written under policy 21. It's fine because it's consistent with what's in the ordinance.
Okay.
But if someone, like if a land division was approved, if a cluster subdivision was approved and someone tried to appeal the decision on the basis of this policy saying they're protected wetlands per the community plan, but they're not in the goal 5 element, I don't have anything to marry the two together.
Right, but on the map, on the county map for the designated community plan area, not the other areas, does it say which wetlands are protected and which ones are not?
No, it's only in the goal 5 element.
Okay,
Because
so what
that's
I would
where they're
suggest,
contained.
right, so what I would suggest for ease of use for everyday all of us is leave this in here and then we attach a map that designates which are protected and which aren't. Because then everyone knows. I think
Right.
right now, many people think because some of us remember when
It's a
George Bush
common,
was president, we
yeah.
think all wetlands are protected. Period.
Right. Protected meaning you can't get a fill removal permit without going through the state review process. You can't just develop in them. You have to get a permit. So that's part of that layer of protection.
Right.
Right. So, and I would say we can attach the goal 5 maps and the community is going to be sorely disappointed by what they see.
Right, but I think that's truth and that's exactly what people just need to know this.
Right.
Let the people know.
They're
Here we
literally
go.
hand-drawn maps from Dawn LaFrance's era of being on the Citizen Involvement Committee for Development of the County's Comprehensive Plan.
Hand drawn, okay.
And
So
drawn.
the maps we have now are better than what the comprehensive plan?
You
the goal
got it.
5 plan?
That's exactly
Oh,
right.
that's embarrassing.
It is. Yes.
But anyway,
Yeah.
I don't know that we can resolve this tonight, and I have a hard stop at 6 o'clock, so I'm kind of on borrowed time here.
Mhm.
But we may need to have some more thinking about this. Off the top, my basic instinct is to just give the people the information of the way things are today and to refer them to the ordinances for
Future.
clarification beyond that.
Yeah.
So I said goal 5 elements, but is that enough of a indicator of what that is of the comprehensive plan?
So yes, no protected. So I would say, can I put it in? Is there a chat here? I'm going to put it in the chat, Tom, because I think this
Okay.
is.
While she's doing that, this is following up on my other comments earlier. I wonder if there's a way for us to put in the document a little summary, not a summary, but an area that says, thus Gwen believes strongly about these things. The community plan doesn't have a way to so to include a policy related to these ideas, but nonetheless, they are very valued by citizens.
Well, that's what the values are meant to impart. I mean, that's the purpose of the values.
So the web thing maybe could go under, we could figure out which a place to put the wetlands under the maybe environmental stewardship or not sure.
Give me I'm solicit. Wow.
Right. I'm just thinking while Sarah's writing, but she looks like she's done.
Yeah, keep talking, Lori. I want to check one more thing just to make sure I got that. So that ties it back to both the goal 5 element of the comp plan and the freshwater wetland overlay zone. So let me see.
Should be able to copy that. She's not going to let me copy that. How special.
Do you want me to email it to you? So then, Tom, the implementation would be it would be the Tillamook County Comprehensive Plan and the Tillamook County Land Use Ordinance.
Okay, I've captured the snapshot. So,
and while we're on that,
oops, I think I did that wrong.
My other comment as I was looking at policy 21, just real quickly, sorry, Lynn,
That's okay.
is to come up with the same thing for protected shorelands, which are in the goal 17 element and the shoreland overlay zone. And then we tie both the wetlands and the shorelands together into policies that are side by side.
That makes sense to me. I don't know what shorelands are legally.
They can be wetlands, they can be exceptional biological habitat, it can be mapped areas of known big game and fur that are supposed to be protected. The Nescoan community has protected shorelands in it too. They are mostly along the wildlife refuge which I don't think we'll ever see a cluster subdivision in there. But
Not if
Lynn,
the elk have any vote.
well,
right,
Lynn, you had one just north of you that someone talked
we
about
see
developing.
we see beavers
Is
out
that,
there surveying.
is
We
that
know
right?
it's trouble. But just for sake of protection and acknowledgement of those natural features,
Yeah.
Tom, I could send this and literally just plug in the different words for shorelands and send it to you in an email.
Okay,
All right.
And
if you'll
then
send both of them and and then, so we'll need another policy for shorelands,
if you wanted, if we wanted,
or do we do it together?
uh, I can send it to you now if you guys want it.
Yes.
Sure.
Okay.
And then when you put them in there, we can see, Tom, if it seems like two different things with this.
Okay,
I mean,
fair enough.
I think we should probably wind down here. We're 2 hours and 18 minutes into this. We made progress today,
We did.
which is good.
Yay.
And we hope to continue on this path. So we have all black lettering and no red.
Yes,
That's
that
our
is the
goal.
That's the goal.
There's been some of that red's gone. Thank you,
Yeah.
Tom.
So
Okay.
thanks for the input today, Sarah. A lot of areas that require your expertise to understand how they apply to the plan as opposed to um, what we're and trying to figure out how our intentions can be made clear even if they're not in the policies. That's, as Lori pointed out, there's got to be some ways to state some things. If they're not going to be in the policies, then they've got to be, we have to find a home for them.
Yeah,
So let's not lose faith in that process.
that's right.
To include those as in the values or somewhere where people can see how we feel about these issues and can have influence later on what gets done around here. So,
So I'm going to put, let
yes,
me
what
just
do you need,
summarize what I
Tom?
wanted. I'm going to, Sarah's going to provide an update. We will treat it just the way we have lined out for all the other offline updates. So
Right?
that'll be in the document. So when we get down to this point, we'll have her text, and we'll decide how to do that. So I'm
Okay.
going to leave this as it is. Or actually, I should probably I'll just leave it as it is.
Yeah.
And everything else below, I am not gonna change.
Okay.
Uh, so I've changed the revision and the date that it's last edited. And
Okay.
as I said, I did, but I didn't really, not yet. Okay. And then I'll send this out shortly, and then we can go from there. And understanding that those things which are no longer policies should review the document for additions. But primarily, the first thing I'd like to do is to resolve all these red blotches.
Right. Right. So that's our goal next time is keep going and knocking these things out so that we've got more clarity in these areas and we're zeroing in on what are the total policies, like 32 or something?
Um, well, if we can go, we have a list of policies. We got 33 of them. Well, actually, we lost two, so we got 31.
Okay, so we have today's changes and maybe 10 more. So it's there's light at the end of the tunnel here. I
The other
like
thing
to
I will,
think.
the other thing I'll do is I'll renumber all the policies based on having deleted those two. So that'll be a change, but I won't track that change because it's just too messy.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tom, for managing this information the way you have. It's amazing. It's all coming together. So,
I sure hope so.
well, if not, we will point it out.
Yep.
Okay,
Okay, shall I stop sharing? Okay.
so our next meeting is April 8th, or not, sorry, not April 8th. Up here, April 6th, Monday, April 6th. So, that I'll get the information from today from the Zoom information, make any corrections, run it by Lynn, and then we'll publish that with an agenda for the next meeting. And we'll see you on the 6th
At 4 p.m.
at 4 p.m. Okay.
Thank you all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you. Great to see you all. Tom, I just sent that email.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night, you guys.
All right.
Good night.
Thank
Bye.
you all. Good night. Okay. End recording. Where does that live now?
Ah, there we go.
But end recording. So stop recording.